right, we're back with some more phrasal verbs. I remembered that Dan, my husband, brought this into me a couple of days ago, and he said, "Look what I found." He found this in a box in the attic, and it's a pointer. And he said, "You can use this when you're teaching." And I used to use different kinds of fun pointers in the classroom, but I will give this a try today, and because I promised him that I would. All right, so this is our second lesson for May 26th. We're talking about phrasal verbs, and we're going to do a few more today. We are in the P section, and the first one we're going to look at is pass something up. To pass something up means to decline that. To say no thank you, or I don't think so, or to say I'm not able to do that right now, thank you. But we might use the phrase, I'm going to need to pass that up right now, okay? Or I'll have to pass. This sometimes is heard in the restaurants when the waiter is coming around with the dessert menu. And some people at the table are excited and they're going to order dessert. And you are trying very hard to not eat sweets. And so when the waiter or waitress comes to you, you say, "Thank you, but I think I will pass." And that's your way of declining. Sometimes when we pass something up, it feels a little sensitive. If, for example, a friend offers something to us, perhaps tickets to a show, and we know it's a show that we would maybe not particularly enjoy, or that it would be a show that would require that we have a babysitter or, make various arrangements that would be difficult. And so we need to say no to that person. We need to decline. And we might simply say, "I'm so sorry. I need to pass that up." But it's always good to add to that, "Thank you so much for thinking of me or thinking of us. Thank you for your offer. Maybe another time." We can say things that help so it doesn't look as if we are just saying no. It's a very important thing for us to pass things up with politeness, all right? And to show that we appreciate the offer. Unless the thing that we are being offered is really like almost a joke. And, our children come up and bring us, a bowl of mud. "Look, Mommy, I have mud. Here, it's your ice cream." And you go, "I'll pass that up." No. Okay, that's a different thing. But for politeness among friends and even strangers in public places, we want to politely pass up the things that we don't want or don't need. One thing that I do, because I think sometimes any of us get caught off guard with an offer. We are not expecting it. That is what off guard means. We're not expecting something. Somebody calls or somebody speaks to us and offers something, and we don't quite know what to say in the moment. And I have learned, for me, that the best thing that I can do is to politely ask, "May I think about this and check with my family?" Or, "May I have a little bit of time? I need to look at my calendar." This way, we don't have to say yes or pass it up in the moment. We can step back and then let that person know politely whether we can accept or whether we need to pass something up. All right, pay somebody back. Pay somebody back. Now, we know that this applies to just a debt, okay? You know, owing someone. And we often say that, again, when we're, I think eating out is a very common, you know, oh, I don't have, you know, my checkbook today, or I don't have my credit card. That's okay. I'll pay for it. You can pay me back later, okay? We also think about when we owe somebody, it doesn't have to be money. It can be we owe someone a favor. So if your neighbor collects your mail for you while you're on a trip, and you come back and you tell your neighbor you appreciate that so much, and you'll say, I'll pay you back. You let me know something I can do for you. I'd like to pay you back for your kindness. So this is another way that we think of paying others back. Another way that we think of paying back is when there is a debt, okay, but a different kind of debt, a debt to society, right? A debt to society. When someone has broken a law, they may have a prison sentence or jail terms, you know, or a fine. Sometimes they will be told that they must do things such as community service. They must help to collect litter on the highways. And in that way, they are paying back a debt to society. They have taken something from society. They've taken away, you know, whatever their crime was. They have harmed or taken something away from our society, the health of our society, and they are paying back a debt to society through their jail time, their service to the community, whatever it may be. Sometimes with my children, one of the ways that I, you know, would punish them, if you will, for something that, you know, I thought they were not very careful or thoughtful or, you know, about, and I wanted them to learn a lesson, I would say, you know, you're going to pay that back to our family. You're going to pay that back by doing, you know, some extra chores this week. Maybe next time you won't be so rude or you won't be so careless. But you need to pay that back and think about it. All right, pay for something. Again, we know that this has to do with paying a debt, to buying something. I'll pay for dinner today, okay? You know, I'll pay for your item. But it also has the same, so this is really just same as above, S-A-A, same as above. It also is the same thing as the debt to society, okay? So if someone has done something wrong, they pay for it. Maybe not always in money, in time, in physical work or whatever. The other way that we use pay for something is a negative kind of a thing, but it is with a warning. I'm going to say for being wronged. With a warning for being wronged. That's a little bit scary sounding, right? All right. The way this could be, and sometimes these are hard for me because I'm generally surrounded by good people. I can't say that that there are many people who have wronged me or purposely wronged me. But if, if there's someone, an acquaintance, who wrongs you personally, who has said something very unkind to you, and they have acted as if your friendship or your relationship is unimportant, you might say, you're going to pay for that someday. You're going to pay for that because you're going to need me, and I won't be here for you because I don't trust you anymore. Now that's a very serious situation, actually, and I can't think of many times in my life that I've even had to consider speaking to someone like that. But I'm sure that I have once or twice. I'm just a blessed person. I think I have good people who are in my world and don't mistreat me. But it is a situation that some people deal with. The other thing is that you might have a situation with a retailer, for example, a store that you have shopped in a lot in the past, you've had good experiences, and then suddenly, sorry, I keep leaning down just to refresh my computer so it won't shut down on me. Anyway, you have had good experiences with a particular retail store. Every time you've gone, you've had good service, you like their products, so forth and so on. And then one day you go and you need to take something back that did not work. And you say, this didn't work and I need to return it. And they say, well, we can't take it back. You waited too long, or we aren't taking things back anymore, or whatever. You might say, well, that's really rude, and I really have always had a good experience with you. I can't believe you're not accepting this back. And they're very, unkind and say, no, sorry, goodbye, next person, come on, next person. And you're like, oh. And you might say, you'll pay for this. I won't never shop in your store again. Okay? Sort of a threat. You're warning them. You've wronged me, and you're going to pay for it because I won't be back, and I'll tell other people that this happened. I'll post it on Facebook. That will hurt your business. Okay? You might hear one of these conversations going in a store sometime. It's usually entertaining to watch, but kind of crazy. All right, pick something out. Pick something out is very easy. It is simply to choose. Okay. And so when we go into the bakery and we select, the particular items in the bakery window that we want, we pick them out. The other way that you may not be familiar with using pick something out is if you are in a large crowd and you are looking for one particular person or one particular thing. Let's say you're a tourist and you're in a very large group of people in a big city area, and you are trying to pick out a particular building. I'm trying to pick out, such and such building or such and such store, or I'm trying to pick out the group that I'm supposed to be with. I know that they went that way and they've all got on red t-shirts, and I'm trying to pick them out, and I can't find them in this big crowd. So we use pick out in that case. Point something out. When we point something out, we indicate it, with usually our finger, okay, or with a pointer, so that we call other people's attention to that. However, we also point things out by giving a suggestion. This is very small writing. Put it up here. After taking notice. Giving a suggestion after taking notice. Here's what that would sound like. Oh, excuse me, my phone's ringing. I'm just going to turn it off. I'm back. So let's say that you're sitting across the table from your spouse, having dinner, and you see that there is mustard or sauce on their shirt, okay, and you point that out. You may use your finger or not. You may just say, you've got stuff on your shirt, and you might want to wipe that off. So you hear I'm kind of pointing it out, and I'm kind of making a suggestion. You might want to take care of that. Generally, we add a suggestion to kind of help that person when we're trying to point something out. Perhaps we're pointing out their attitude. Perhaps you're having a conversation with someone and you're saying, you're being a little bit rude right now. You're being a little bit too hard on me about something. You might want to stop and think, okay? So usually if you point something out, you want to say to that person, you could do it differently, okay? Or here, I can help you with this. So, if you were pointing something out to me as the teacher in class, I've written something on the board that I've written it incorrectly, which happens a lot because I'm thinking too many things at once. And you can politely say, oh, Terry, I think that word is spelled differently. I looked it up and here's what it's supposed to be, okay? So that's another way of pointing out. Besides just directly pointing to something, we also mention something that we have noticed and perhaps add a suggestion to let that person know that we want to help them with that. All right, that's a lot of phrasal verbs for today. We'll come back to these as we usually do in a couple of weeks and do some more. All righty. I will see you for session 3.